Hi, good evening. Welcome to Reading the Bible with Nikki. If you get highly offended and easily buttsore and feel like lip boxing, feel free to go ahead and lip box yourself because you will get trolled repeatedly by me. You're charismatic, infallible. Yes, infallible. Why? Because I feel like it. That's why. So, I am your charismatic, infallible enigma known as Nikki K the Great because I'm awesome. So, take your pills, grab your smokes, get comfy, and then grab your keep other people alive juice because there's a lot of keyboard tough guys and they need to be kept alive because they're amusing. So thank you for interacting and commenting on my videos. I love you. Now, let's smoke it, drink it, and read it, right? So, we're finishing this book tonight. Then we got one more book left. How awesome is that? I think that's totally awesome. So, this says the wonderful stream. When he brought me back to the entrance of the temple, and there I saw water flowing out and throat. I saw water flowing out from under the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the front of the temple faced east. The water flowed toward the right side of the temple to the south of the altar. He brought me by way of the north gate and around the outside to the outer gate facing east. There I saw water trickling from the southern side. When he continued eastward with a measuring cord in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits and had me wade through the water ankle deep. It got all up in my shoes and in my socks. Ugh. He measured off another 1,000 cubits. Once more, had me wading through the water, and it was up to the knees now. He measured another 1,000 and had me wade through the water. It was up to my waist. Once more, he measured off 1,000. Now it was a river. I could not wade across. The water had risen so high, I would have to swim. I would have to swim a river that was impassable. Then he asked me, "Do you see this?" And he brought me to the bank of the river and had me sit down. Man, that had to be fucking exhausting. As I was returning, I saw along the bank of the river a great many trees on each side. And then he said to me, "This water flows to the eastern district, runs down into the Araba, and empties into the polluted waters of the sea to freshen them. Wherever it flows, the river seems with every kind of living creature." No. Wherever it flows, the river teems with every kind of living creature. Fish will abound. Are they bees? Just kidding. Where these waters flow, they refresh. Everything lives where the river goes. Fishermen will stand along the shore, from En-gedi to En-eglaim. It will become a place for drying nets and will abound with as many kinds of fish as the great sea. Its marbles and swamps shall not be made fresh, but will be left for salt. Along each bank of the river, every kind of fruit tree will grow. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fresh fruit because the waters of the river flow from the sanctuary. Their fruit is used for food and their leaves for healing. Boundaries. No, the new Israel. Boundaries of the land. Thus says the Lord God, these boundaries of the land which you shall apportion among the 12 tribes, with Joseph having 2 portions. Yeah, but why Joseph? Why Joseph, though? You shall apportion it equally, because I swore to give it to your ancestors. This land, that is your heritage. These are the borders of the land on the northern side, from the great sea in the direction of Hethlon, Lebo Hamath to Zidon. Lebo Hamath to Zidon. Berothah, Sibraim, along with the frontiers of Damascus and Hamath, to Hazar Enon, to on the border of Hauran. Thus, the border extends from the sea to Hazar Enon, north of the border of Damascus. The frontier of Hamath to the north. This is the northern boundary. The eastern border shall be between Damascus and Haran, while the Jordan will form the border between Gilead and the land of Israel down to the eastern sea as far as Tamar. This is the eastern boundary. The southern border shall go southward from Tamar to the waters of Mirbeth Kadesh, onto the Wadi of Egypt, and into the great sea. This is the southern boundary. The western border shall have the great sea as a boundary, as far as a point opposite Laba Hamath. This is the western boundary. The northern portions, you shall divide this land according to the tribes. You shall allot it as a heritage for yourselves and for the resident aliens in your midst who have fathered children among you. You shall treat them like native Israelites. Along with you, they shall receive heritage among the tribes of Israel. So there you go. The Jews aren't really Jews. And in whatever tribe the resident alien lives, there you shall assign his heritage. So Jews aren't really Jews. That's what we're going with there, huh? All right. So then there is no anti-Semitism because none of them are actually Jews. All right, this is the last chapter. Haha, we're fucking done. Well, we're done with this book anyway. Okay. These are the names of the tribes. At the north side, along no, at the north end, that's a place here in Ohio near Cincinnati, all the way down there. At the northern end, along the side of the way to Hethlon, Lebo Hamath, and Hazar Anan, the border of Damascus, and northward up to the frontier with Hamath, from the eastern border to the western. Dan, one portion, along the territory of Dan, from the eastern border to the western border. Asher, there is a goddess. Her name is Asherah. Along the territory of Asher, from the eastern border to the western. Naphtali. Along the territory of Naphtali, from the eastern border to the western border. Manasseh. Along the territory of Manasseh, from the eastern to the western. Ephraim. Along the territory of Ephraim, from the east to the west. Reuben. Along the territory of Reuben, from the eastern to the western. Judah, the sacred tract. Along the territory of Judah, from the east to the west, is the tract you shall set apart, 25,000 cubits. And as long as one of the portions from the east to the west, the sanctuary shall stand in the center of the tract. The tract will set you apart, for the Lord shall be 25,000 cubits long. The tract set you apart for the Lord. Oh, haha. So this is their little highway thing. The sacred tract will be given to the following. The priest shall have 25,000 of the north, 10,000 on the west, and 10,000 on the east, 25,000 on the south, and the sanctuary of the Lord shall be its center. The consecrated priests, the Zadokites, who fulfilled my service and did not stray, they shall have their own tracts set apart next to the territory of the Levites, separate from the most holy tract. The Levites shall have territory corresponding to that of the priests, 25,000 cubits long and 10,000 wide. And no. Okay. They shall have territory corresponding 25,000 cubits long, and 10,000 cubits wide. The whole tract shall be 25,000 cubits long and 20,000 wide. They may not sell or exchange, transfer any of it. The best part of the land, for it is sacred to the Lord. The remaining section, 5,000 cubits long and 25,000 cubits wide, is profane land assigned to the city for dwellings and pasture. The city is at its center. These are the dimensions of the city. The north side, 4,500 cubits. The south side, 4,500. The east side, 4,500. And the west side, 4,500 cubits. The pasture land for the city extends north 250 cubits, south 250, the east and the west 250 apiece. The remaining section runs eastward along the sacred tract for 10,000 cubits and westward 10,000 cubits. Its produce shall provide food for the workers of the city. The workers of the city from all the tribes of Israel shall cultivate it. The entire sacred tract measures 25,000 by 25,000. As a square, you shall set apart the sacred tract together with the city properly. Remaining land on both sides of the sacred tract and the property of the city shall belong to the prince, extending eastward 25,000 cubits, up the eastern boundary, and western boundary 25,000. This portion belongs to the prince and corresponds to the tribal portions. The sacred tract and the sanctuary of the temple shall be in the middle. Except for the Levites' property and the city's property, which are in the middle of the prince's property. The territory between the portion of Judah and the portion of Benjamin shall belong to the prince. Uh-oh. The southern portions. These are the remaining tribes from the eastern border to the western. Benjamin. Along the territory of Benjamin, from the eastern border to the western. Ow, that really fucking hurt my leg. Oh, I wonder if you could hear it. Man, that hurt. That was my skin scraping across this wood. That was my knee. Along the territory of Benjamin, from the eastern border to the western border. Simeon. Along the territory of Simeon, from the eastern to the western, Issachar. Along the territory of Issachar, Zebulun. Along the territory of Zebulun, from the east to the west, Gad. Along the territory of Gad shall be in the southern border. This border shall extend from Tamar to the waters of Meribeth Kadesh, and along the Wadi of Egypt to the Great Sea. This land you shall portion as heritage among the tribes of Israel, and these are their portions. I hate reading all these schematics. It's the worst ever. These are the exits from the city on the north side, measuring 4,500. The gates are named after the tribes. On the north, 3 gates: Reuben, Judah, and Levi. On the east side, 3 gates: Joseph, Benjamin, and Dan. On the south side, 3 gates: the gates of Simeon, Issachar, and Zebulun. On the west side, 3 gates: Gad, Asher, and Naphtali. The circuit of the city shall be 18,000 cubits. From now on, the name of the city is The Lord is Here. And that's the end of the book. Oh, man, that's the end of the book. Right there. Ha ha. Yeah, we just finished another book. I have to say, though, for everybody to be so buttsore about this book back in the day, it doesn't even say anything. It doesn't say that he was eating feces and doing all sorts of crazy shit to have a prophecy. It didn't say that. Like, being excited to read this book and then reading it is like getting gut punched before you're about to bust a nut. This story is not worth all of the hoopla it got at the time this Bible was being put together. I think this is one of those books that the Jews were kind of trying to keep secret because it told you what it was supposed to be, and you guys decided to ignore it, so you tried to cover it up. Did you know it? And what I don't understand is these people are always trying to bring on the end times, yet none of them go up to a mountain and try to blow a trumpet. None of them build the shit the Bible says to build and the places it says to build it. They want to act like God protects them. If you've ever read this book, God does not protect you people. He makes it to where you suffer because you're retarded. And then when he thinks you might have learned your lesson, which you don't ever learn your fucking lesson. These Jews, man, these people, the ones in the Bible. I mean, not much has changed in real life, but the ones in the Bible at this point, I have no sympathy for them. They deserved every second of everything that happens to them. Yep, sure do. I don't know. I don't like these people. And I'm so disappointed that this book wasn't what they made it all cracked up to be. You don't want people to read this book because something might happen and somebody might prophesy like Ezekiel. No. He didn't even fucking do anything. So wouldn't nobody know how to sacrifice or prophecy like this guy anyways, because he didn't do anything. There was no eating doo-doo and covering yourself in shit and going to prison and writing all over the walls and prophesying because you've lost your fucking mind. There was none of that. So I don't understand why this was such a big deal, except for if everything he said in here is true and you guys are just refusing to follow the rules. And whatever end comes from this for you guys, you totally 100% deserve, because you're not doing what this book says to do. You decide to go off a book you made up to make you look better. Worshipping yourself is not worshiping God, by the way. Just want to say that. Anyway, I don't fucking like these people. I don't. I don't. Call me whatever you want, but these people are so fucking disrespectful. It's gross. Anyway, dude, I'm so buzzsore. This book was nothing like what it was made out to be. And in pursuit of truth, you, in one of your past videos, I think it was 3 videos ago, whatever, the one where the lady's talking about Ezekiel, the Bible Ezekiel, and how people were afraid that they would prophesy like Ezekiel. Am I missing something? Like, am I missing something? I don't know. Am I missing something? Because if you go back in my videos, it's like I can't wait to read Ezekiel. And this book turned out to be a pre-bust gut punch. It's so deflating. My lady boner has gone away. I'm so sad. I don't know what to do. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow morning with Rock. And tomorrow night with a new book. We started a new book. And not only is it a new book, it's the last book of the Old Testament. How fucking exciting is that? Yeah. Oh, I'm beyond excited to finally be about done with this Old Testament. Yeah. Oh, and I can't wait. Anyway, thank you for watching. I love you, and have the greatest day ever.